Hello, my name's Charli Wall. I got asked the question, I can't stay on a weight loss program. What's wrong with me? I can't seem to stick to it. And this is a question that I hear and see all the time, all the time. And so I wanted to address that on this video, on this vlog, because I want to be able to try and help as many people understand how their experience is being created and how we're innocently looking in the wrong place for our answers. So I have a Facebook group called She Connects, which is free for everyone. So if you want to join that, I'll post the link below this video. And it's an amazing group. There's women from all over the world in there. I feel very lucky. It's like 841 women in there now, I think. And a lot of women ask for support, and they get huge support from everyone else. But what I've tried to make is a non-weight loss bullshit discussion group. Like, I wanted it to be about body positivity. I wanted it to be about acceptance, self-love, kindness, compassion. But of course, what I've noticed is, when I initially set it up, it was because of the film Embrace and bringing that to Cambridge and wanting to promote absolutely body positivity. But what I didn't take into consideration, of course, at the time, and that was before I did my Clarity Coach training, was that, of course, a lot of us who have that tendency to hate on ourselves, of course, we're going to be drawn to that sort of film Embrace because we want to embrace our bodies, but we get caught up in a cycle of self-loathing, of saying I'll start tomorrow. And by start tomorrow, and I'm using quotes if you're listening to this on the podcast, what I mean by that is you're essentially saying, I'm going to eat or drink or smoke all this stuff today. I'm going to pick on myself. I'm not going to exercise. I'm going to basically stay in my comfort zone, which feels really uncomfortable. And tomorrow I will start my regime. And at that point, you may have an idea in your mind, a thought, a visualization of what that might look like. So what I hear when I ask people, like, what's that vision look like for you? They'll say, so I wake up in the morning and I have my lemon tea, my hot water and lemon. And then I might do some yoga or meditation. And then, I'll get dressed and go to work. And then all day at work, I'll be eating salads and fruit and drinking water. And I'll be taking great care of myself. And then in the evening, I might go out for a run or go back to the gym because I've got a gym membership, which I never go to the gym. And that will make me happy. That will make me happy. And so when I've asked the question, they have a vision of what that's going to look like. Inevitably, in my own experience and in the experience of my clients, what actually happens is a version of this. We go to sleep. We think we're going to start tomorrow. We kind of get motivated by looking at other people's Instagram or Facebook, and we think, yep, tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow's the day. We wake up. We look at our phone. We get caught up in the same connections, habitual neurons are firing, right? So there's lots going on a chemical, biological, physiological level. And we inevitably act out the same scene that we have done time and time again. So your idea is there, I'm going to get up and have hot water, but your physiology and the chemical hormones are saying tea, coffee. And you think you have some control over this, but your habitual thoughts are feeling stronger. So then you might have the normal tea, normal coffee, no meditation. You've looked at your phone first thing. So then you think, in my experience, I'll do it in 5 minutes. I'll do it after I've had a cup of tea. So then there's this dialogue that starts. I'll have my cup of tea first, and then I'll do my meditation or my yoga. 10 minutes pass, you're on your phone, or you've got children there, or you've opened your work emails, or something else has happened. And then you get to breakfast and you might grab something on the run, or not have any breakfast at all, or just grab a coffee. And so we go on. So then, because in your mind you're thinking, well, the day's ruined, I've already started it off wrongly, I haven't done what I wanted to do, you become kind of distracted, you start thinking bad thoughts about yourself, and so the cycle continues. And so by the end of the day, we are inevitably back in the same place, because we feel defeated, and we feel like we'll start again tomorrow. So often what I see on the Facebook group is some version of this, whether it be drink alcohol related, or food related, or I haven't done any exercise related, or, I really want to meditate, but I'm not doing it, or whatever. There's a thing outside of us, which most women believe will solve their problems. And usually day by day, they run the same program. It kind of like on automatic pilot. And then they're questioning, why can't I just do this? And this is a question I see time and time and time again. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do this, A, B, or C. I can't get there. I can't get from here to there. And they can't see a way how they do it. So they end up frustrated, really hard on themselves. Firstly, what I want you to know is there's absolute hope. There is absolute hope. I was once that person stuck in that cycle of exactly as I described, thinking I will start tomorrow, eating foods that I didn't think were particularly healthy for me. And again, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm using air quotes around healthy. There's so much I could go into here, but essentially I was that person, and I felt like I was in a Groundhog Day, and that every day was the same, and that I didn't have any control. And I absolutely believed that my thoughts controlled me. I believed that I was my thoughts. I believed my thoughts to be true, I was more inclined to believe the thoughts about being negative, and being ugly, and being stupid, and being fat, and being old, and all of those thoughts that came my way that I had a tendency to believe. And so, of course, then I would either eat or drink or smoke, or do some variation of all three, and slash exercise. So firstly, what I meant, like what I said, is there's definitely hope. There is absolute hope for you. Secondly, I want you to know that you're not alone. And thirdly, I want you to know that we create our experience moment to moment to moment by our thinking in the moment. And so what we experience is always thought driven. And what we experience is a result of conditioned beliefs that tell us that we'll be okay if we achieve A, B, or C. So we're always innocently looking outside of us for the answer. We're also always fighting our chemical addictions that we don't realize is going on behind the scenes. So the chemical addiction of your tea, coffee, your routine, your habits, that our kind of machine-like brain absolutely loves routine and the known. Even though 1 minute into the future is unknown, we think we like to know what's coming, to predict the future. So anything outside of that feels unknown. So if we say to ourselves, I'm going to do this, this, and this, which is out of our ordinary day, it's unknown. And so therefore our ego mind, our machine brain will be like, oh no, you don't want to do that tomorrow. And so because we believe our thoughts and don't realize that there's spiritual energy just passing through us, we breathe life into them and make them mean something about us. And it's usually along the lines of, or some variation of, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And so we continue. And so we continue this Groundhog Day until we start to see something different. Now, our thoughts are emotions going through us. And we're always feeling our thinking in the moment. And underneath all of those thoughts, I utterly know and 100% believe that we all have innate well-being and mental health. It's always there. And the reason I know this is because I've experimented with this very scenario. And I've experimented in any given moment about where I perceive my experience to be coming from. So when I got curious about this, it was like, one day I could go to the gym, for example, and I'd feel on top of the world. And I believed innocently that it was the gym that made me feel better. It was the exercise that made me feel better. It was the endorphins that made me feel better. And then there were other times that I could go to the gym or do some exercise, and I'd feel utterly pissed off and grumpy and just not enjoying it. And I know that in the kind of community that I was in at the time, say like CrossFit community, for example, people would say, oh, you have off days, you have good days. Now I got curious about that. Like, so if it's the exercise that is universal in making people happy, why is it that I wasn't feeling happy every time I exercised? So that was the first thing I got curious about. The second thing was it's very common for women to say to me, I want to be thin. I want to be thin. And their perception of thin is usually based on whatever they believe in their mind to be slim or to have a nice figure. And of course, that's completely unique to each and every one of us. Now, if being thin or slim was universally accepted, that that's what makes people happy, then I would not have clients who were unhappy who were slim. I wouldn't have those same women who perceive themselves to be slim being unhappy about some other aspect of their lives. So, and then I look back at my own life and I think, well, I've been quote unquote slim and I wasn't happy. In fact, I was very unhappy. So if it was the thinness that I wanted, why wasn't I happy when I was perceiving myself to be slim? So there's two examples there of how, we believe that something outside of us, we believe if we get to this point outside of us, or that we're not in this moment, then we'll be happy. And that's just not true. So we create this kind of arbitrary thinking around tomorrow I'll be different, tomorrow I'll do different. And of course, tomorrow comes and we're exactly the same because we're stuck in our habitual thinking because we don't see it for what it is, which is energy and motion. And motion, energy kind of moving through us and if we could just let that go, then we've got mental health and well-being at our core. Like, that's our nature. So we just get caught up in our thoughts, which are habitual and they're part of the addiction. And we kind of, because we have this busy mind, because we've got this heaviness of our thinking, we intuitively want to feel better. We intuitively know that something's not right. Now, this is where we innocently look for relief. And the relief can come in the form of biscuits or chocolate or wine or cigarettes or starving or binging or purging or laxatives or shopping or scrolling. It can come in any one of those forms where we get relief from our busy mind, and there we have the kind of neural pathway formed, because at some point your brain will have remembered that at some point in your past you will have felt better from the behavior. Now, those of you that binge and purge, when you make yourself sick, tryptophan is produced, which is a precursor for dopamine. So what I'm suggesting then there is that when you make yourself sick, you're actually creating the dopamine, which is the hormone which makes us happy, which is created when we laugh, when we connect, when we love, when we essentially when we feel at peace. So all we're doing innocently, and it's always innocent, it's just a misunderstanding of where our experience is coming from, is that we're innocently looking in the wrong place for that peace and well-being and happiness and calmness that is absolutely ours by birthright. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about on this video today. The other thing is this amazing oil, this doTERRA oil. I don't know if you can see this, but it's called patchouli, and it really smells absolutely amazing. And this has been created by doTERRA, and it helps individuals experience the magnificence of their own physical body. And it assists in releasing emotional judgments and issues related to the body, such as believing the body is dirty or ugly, and helps with body image distortions and general body dislike. Now, what I teach is that we kind of are creating our experience moment to moment to moment, but it's always nice to have something to kind of bring you back into the present moment. And so what I like to do is, if I feel myself that I'm losing sight of how my experience is being created, I'll just get this oil. I might just smell it, put it in my hands, and I'm kind of reminded then of coming back into the moment and offering myself love, offering myself gratitude, offering myself kindness. And so that helps me see through the illusory nature of my thinking, which is actual bollocks for the most part, especially the negative thinking. You know, we are all guided by wisdom 100% of the time. And any thought that comes into your mind that has an edge of negativity or criticism or frustration or judgment, that's not coming from your wisdom. That's coming from our kind of chaotic mind and ego. And, you know, the ego wants you to kind of believe that you're separate and alone. Any other voice, once we kind of clear through those thoughts, any other fresh new thinking that comes in is wisdom. Any guidance, any voice that comes from love, kindness is wisdom. And that's where we get those little intuitive nudges that I've talked about before on previous videos. But body shame and judgment and disconnection from your body is usually a result of years of kind of conditioned beliefs or trauma. I know in my case it was trauma, post-traumatic stress. But I just want you to know, as I said to you in the beginning, that there is hope. There is hope. And with that hope comes an understanding. And with that understanding comes a different way of treating your body. And because of that, weight loss tends to be a natural byproduct of being kind to yourself and not being so attached to your thinking and our thoughts and what we think we look like. So I hope that helped you. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. And if you want to come into my free group, then I will put the link below, but it's called She Connects. You can put that in the search engine of Facebook. And I hope to connect with you soon. And if you've got any other questions you want me to address, just please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. Take care. You are enough. I think you're amazing, and I hope to connect with you at some point soon. Bye.